My wife and I have been married for 5 years. I thought our marriage was good. I've been quite busy recently because I've been secretly planning a surprise trip to Asia. My wife has always wanted to go, and over the years, I've been saving up to take her. It's taken a lot of coordination with her best friend and my in-laws. Her best friend, since middle school, has been helping me create a trip since she has a much clearer idea of everywhere my wife wants to visit. My in-laws were going to watch our 2 kids for the trip. It was supposed to happen next year, and I was going to give it to her as her birthday gift, which was coming up this month. A few days ago, she confronted me out of the blue, saying she had proof I was cheating. It turns out that she's been tracking my movements and even followed me one night when I went to her friend's house to work on the trip details. She saw me go in, and that was enough for her to jump to the conclusion that I was having an affair. When I got back that night, she threw some of my stuff out and accused me of cheating on her. I tried explaining the situation without spoiling the surprise, but she wouldn't let it go. Eventually, we had a huge argument, and I felt forced to reveal the truth about the trip. I told her I was planning this special getaway and had been working with her best friend to make everything perfect. Her best friend confirmed this, and I even had to show her the trip info. She believed me after her mom confirmed it. Instead of relief, I'm extremely hurt. It became clear to me that she didn't trust me at all. She started tracking my movements, which is so gross, and that says a lot about where we stand. I canceled the entire trip. I told her that her lack of trust made me feel like all the effort I put into it didn't matter anymore. I didn't want to go and pay for a trip with her after she didn't trust me whatsoever. She's angry, saying I overreacted and canceling the trip was too extreme. She kind of apologized for accusing me, but it was more of a "more sorry, but it's your fault" type of deal. She said she felt justified in her suspicions because of how secretive I'd been. She thinks I should have been more understanding of her feelings, but I feel like jumping straight to cheating and following me showed a serious breach of trust on her part. I refused to rebook the trip, and she's now calling me an idiot. Her best friend is on my side and is also angry she jumped to cheating. She's also married, which adds insult to injury here. It was easier for both of us to just meet up. My messages are connected to the iPad she uses often, and calls wouldn't work because of the time when her best friend was free. I would have to hide in the house or even leave so she wouldn't overhear the conversation. So, you behaved in a new and secretive way, had clandestine meetings with another woman, hid information, and are now upset that your wife assumed something was going on. An affair is a very logical conclusion for your wife to reach. What would you have thought if the roles were reversed? Also, why did planning a trip involve so much help from her best friend? I don't think it's bad that you asked the friend, I'm just curious as to why multiple meetings were needed exactly. This is a one-time lunch meetup and take note scenario. I've planned a trip to Asia before and have also planned trips for other people. I do not understand why multiple trips to her best friend's house late at night were needed to make these plans, especially a year in advance. OP is dumb. Nothing you secretly plan should alter your interactions with the person you're planning it for to the point they think something is wrong. Also, his wife probably would have preferred to plan her own trip with her husband. You are the idiot. This is the problem with surprises like this. When your partner is keeping secrets and lying to you, you don't know the reason why. It takes time to trust yourself and realize there's something going on. Like it or not, people cheat, and so often the partner thinks, I had no idea. I thought we had a loving marriage. Update, I will ask my wife for couples therapy. We're not going on the trip, and if she refuses, I think this is divorce-worthy. There's no marriage without trust, and it's clear she has zero trust in me, and I've lost trust in her. My uncle brought me out to eat on Saturday because he wasn't here for my birthday 3 weeks ago. He had to take my step-siblings, a young teen female and a tween male, with us. He's not their step-uncle, by the way, he's my mom's brother. My step-siblings are my dad's stepkids. My uncle and dad used to be best friends, but their friendship ended when my mom died 2 years ago. Things are messy because my uncle still wants to see me, and I want to see him, but Dad doesn't want my step-siblings left out, so they get dragged around sometimes. Something kind of relevant is that my step-siblings have non-anaphylactic, kind food allergies. Their allergies are different from each other, and they get rashes and puking and stuff from eating foods they're allergic to. This has become such a focus for my dad and their mom that I don't get to eat at places I like, even when my step-siblings aren't there, because it's not fair. I'm also the only person in the family who thinks it's more a burden than a family who never gets to have my favorite restaurant rotation for eating out. My dad, his wife, and both my step-siblings get their number one choice, but because mine doesn't easily accommodate my step-siblings, I can't have it. All my top 5 are out, even for my birthday. I hate it. I resent it. I don't have the family affection or mushiness for them to make it easier. I just basically suck it up. But when my uncle was taking me, I made my top choice, and he took us. My step-siblings didn't eat, and I didn't even feel bad because their needs are always put first, and they shouldn't have been tagging along anyway. Their mom was so angry when my uncle dropped me off, and my dad was disappointed in me. He asked me why I chose it, and I told him it's my favorite restaurant. It's been almost 6 years since I got to eat there because they decided I can never have it while I live with them. I told him it was meant to be celebrating my birthday, and since I get messed over when they celebrate me because of my step-siblings, I didn't see why I had to do it when my uncle was taking me. I told him they shouldn't have been there in the first place. I didn't want them there. He was just messing with my uncle. His wife heard me say her kids shouldn't have been there and asked where my compassion is and where my sibling bond went. I told her I never had one. My step-siblings were really upset they'd been forced to watch, which made their mom angrier at me and my dad more upset with me, especially because I didn't feel bad about it. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. He's your uncle, not theirs. It was your birthday celebration, not theirs. Steal those little moments for you whenever possible. Your dad is going to realize his mistake when you're nearly an adult and you start doing things without them, and seeing your uncle on your own terms. Your dad should want you to enjoy a restaurant you enjoy, and not force your step-siblings to be brought along. I feel for your step-siblings, but not to get to choose. Even if steps aren't there, are all sorts of messed up. I hate the attitude that the world revolves around a person with allergies, unless they're deadly. I grew up with multiple food allergies, eggs, nuts, seafood, etc. So no birthday cake, cupcakes, chocolate bars, desserts. Never once have I ever made someone choose a restaurant, decline a cake, remove a dessert, or do anything to cater to my allergies, because they are my allergies, mine to deal with. Step-siblings are old enough to know this. Sorry that you have such a crappy dad and step-monster. I'm 28, male, and I'm a medical resident, so I barely have time to sleep, let alone date. My friends, also in med school, have been pushing me to go out more, insisting I need a break from the grind. A few weeks ago, they set me up on a blind date. They wouldn't stop talking about how perfect this girl was for me, so I thought, why not? I met Emily at the restaurant right away. I could tell she wasn't what my friends probably expected me to go for. Emily is not super skinny, in fact, she's a little chubby. But honestly, I thought she was really cute. She had this amazing smile, and her laughing made me want to keep the conversation going. She's studying geology, and she was so passionate about her work, talking about volcanic rock formations like it was the coolest thing ever. By the end of the night, I agreed it was a lot more fun to talk about than cadavers. The best part was how comfortable the date felt. We both found out we're autistic, but late diagnosed, and we mask a lot, meaning we're used to putting on social acts to fit in. But with each other, it felt like we didn't have to pretend so much, making the whole evening feel easy. It wasn't like most dates where you constantly try to impress the other person. We just clicked, physically and emotionally. Emily wasn't the type my friends thought I'd be into, but I didn't care at all. She's sweet and funny, and I had a fantastic time with her. By the end of the night, we exchanged numbers, and we've been texting pretty regularly since. A few days later, though, I got a really sad message from Emily. It turns out that my friends told her that they'd set us up as a prank. They set me up with her because they thought she wasn't my type, and that they picked her precisely because she's chubby and not what they'd call conventionally attractive. They thought it would be funny to see how I'd react. Emily was obviously hurt and texted me apologizing if she wasn't what I expected. She said she understood if I didn't want to talk to her anymore. She was wrong. I think she's beautiful, both in body and spirit. To be honest, she's my new type. I was furious when I found out what my friends had done. I immediately apologized to Emily, telling her my friends were idiots and I genuinely enjoyed our date. I reassured her that I wasn't texting her out of pity and that I thought she was awesome. After we talked it out, I asked her if she'd like to go on another date, just the two of us, with no pranks or games this time. She said yes. Now my friends are angry at me. They're saying I ruined the joke and that I'm being weird by asking her out again. They're acting like the whole thing was just harmless fun and they can't believe I'm going on a second date with someone who, to them, was supposed to be the punchline. They even joke that I'm only doing it because I feel bad. But that's not it at all. I actually like Emily. I'm looking forward to seeing her again. I don't see why I should let their prank dictate how I feel. So now I'm going all this backlash, and my friends think I'm the idiot for continuing to see her. I'm so confused. They keep saying it's my autism and that I just don't get it. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like you need new friends. That's some gross and disrespectful high school level behavior on their part. Also, disappointing to hear that they're going to become doctors. They're not the kind of people who should be entrusted with anyone's well-being. And they never needed to say anything to Emily, regardless of whether it went well or not. Setting it up as a prank is childish. Kicking the boot into her to tell her like that is incredibly cruel and unnecessary. And these people are going to become doctors. So much this. My brother went on his first date with a woman on a bet from his buddy and some coworkers. She wasn't his type, she was short and athletic, whereas he'd always gone out with tall and willowy women. Well, this coming November, they'll celebrate 22 years of marriage, and their daughter is in her sophomore year of university. The people who made the bet have since sworn they'll never let it slip that he asked her out on a bet and have been absolutely happy that their juvenile bet turned out so well. OP, go enjoy your date and maybe consider a new group of friends. So I 34 male, I live in a suburban neighborhood with a decent-sized backyard and a pool. I've always been friendly with my neighbors, including Karen, a mid-40s female who moved in next door about a year ago. She seemed nice at first, but as time passed, she started showing her true colors. Over the summer, Karen started coming over with her kids, asking if they could use the pool. At first, I didn't mind because I was usually outside anyway, and the kids seemed to enjoy it. But soon, things got weird. Karen began showing up unannounced, sometimes even when I wasn't home. I caught her using the pool without my permission one day. I came home to find Karen and several of her friends having a full-on pool party in my backyard, complete with snacks, music, and pool floats. I confronted her, and she acted like it was no big deal, saying, "Oh, you weren't using it, so I figured it was fine." I told her politely but firmly that she needed to ask before coming over and that I wasn't comfortable with her just assuming she could use the pool whenever she wanted. Karen seemed annoyed but agreed to follow the rules. Then last week, she took things to a whole new level. Karen knocked on my door with a typed-up list of pool rules that she wanted me to follow. Her list included things like no swimming after 5 p.m. because her kids have a strict bedtime, no loud music when her family is outside, and mandatory weekend access for her and her kids, but only for their exclusive use. I thought she was joking at first, but she was dead serious. I laughed and told her there was no way I was following any of her rules for my pool. Karen got angry and called me selfish, saying I was ruining the neighborhood spirit and being unfair to the kids. Now, she's been spreading rumors to other neighbors that I'm a bad guy for not sharing the pool. Some of the neighbors have even said I should just let it go to avoid drama, but I feel like this is insane. It's my pool, and she's acting like she owns it. Am I the idiot for refusing to let Karen and her kids use my pool after she demanded I follow her ridiculous rules? Basically, the pool and backyard are only maintained by you for the enjoyment of Karen and her family, not the idiot. Karen is insane. Purchase a camera for the pool that has an app to notify you when someone is in that area. People like her never back down, so you can't either. If you do, you'll never know a moment's peace. OP needs to lock their fence so this nitwit can't get in. And if they don't have a fence, build one. OP, you realize Karen will be the first one at your door with a lawyer if one of her kids hurts themselves in your pool. Right, send back Karen's list with edits. We will use our pool whenever we want, as it's on our property. Neither you nor your family are allowed on our property under any circumstances. If you or your family members set foot on our property, I will be calling the police, and you'll be having mandatory time with the police officer exclusively for your family. Quick update, just to let everyone know, my backyard fence doesn't have a lock. I've taken your advice and purchased one from the store, and I'll install it tomorrow. For those suggesting I get a camera, I already have one, but it's not pointing directly at the pool. It's more about the fence entrance. My ex-wife and I share 2 kids. Our daughter is a teen, and our son is a young teen. We divorced 11 years ago, and we share custody of the kids 50-50ths. My ex is remarried, and she has a stepdaughter in her home who is the same age as our daughter. My ex and her husband have tried to make the kids close, especially the 2 girls because they're the same age, but this has not worked. I know from my kids' time with me that they have zero closeness to her, and my daughter in particular doesn't like her stepsister. From speaking to my ex about issues in the past, I know her stepdaughter has trouble with other kids liking her and she gets excluded by them more frequently than she's included by others. This was something my ex wanted me to address with our kids before my daughter and her best friend were invited to a Halloween party this year. The kids are with me for Halloween, so she asked me for permission to go. I spoke to the hosting parents and felt that it was safe for my daughter to go under the circumstances. My ex discovered I'd given our daughter permission to go and she was furious. She asked why I hadn't offered to take her stepdaughter to begin with, because she learned I was picking the girls up. Then she mentioned her stepdaughter was excluded from the party, and that every other kid in their grade was included. She felt that this meant our daughter should not be attending either, in support of her stepsister. She tried to forbid me from allowing our daughter to go. I told her it wasn't a decision she could make. She argued that I should be encouraging a supportive sibling dynamic between the girls, and that it seems like our kids only support each other and not their stepsister, whom they've known for more than half their lives. My ex told me I'd be a real idiot to a teen girl if I let her daughter go to this party. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your daughter is her own person. If she wants to go to a party and has your permission, and you're her guardian for that period, then you have the right to allow her to go there. You aren't encouraging any bullying or discrimination of your ex's stepdaughter, and you certainly wouldn't be encouraging any supportive sibling dynamics between the girls by punishing your daughter by not allowing her to go. Your ex wants the daughter to say, "I'm not coming to the party since my stepsister isn't invited," to show solidarity. But your daughter doesn't even like her stepsister, and she doesn't want to give up her own social life. Forcing her to do this is a punishment. She would do it for her brother because they like each other and they support each other. They would stick together more and more because their mom, Op's ex, is making them uncomfortable by forcing their sibling relationship and punishing them. What your ex is trying to do will backfire spectacularly.